name is Paul Emerson, and I'll be giving you my 2 cents. I am currently leaving work for the day, headed home, and everyone's talking about Gemini 3 in 3D space. I don't want it. Ooh, that was close. Everyone's talking about Gemini 3 in the 3D space. I mean, in a large language model space, and how awesome it is, and how Google is gonna win, and the race is gonna be over soon. And I'm making this video because I had a conversation with my daughter about 2 or 3 weeks ago for the generation that's coming up now, the generation that's born, the generation of people that are turning 18 right now, not the people born right now, but those of you that are of the age of adults in at the age of 2020, the generation of like quarantine babies, right? You guys that are getting out of high school and starting college age right now, like those of you that are graduating from college, and those of you graduating from high school and starting college right now. My channel is dedicated to me just having a intellectual conversation on the internet, but changes in dynamics and evolution over time. Now my channel is dedicated to trying to help your guys' generation be the best versions of yourselves, because life be lifing, and things are not as easy or cut and dry and simple as they should be, and it's really hard to make a lot of decisions, and there's a lot of stuff happening all the time really fast, right? So Chatgpt is the best. Let me say this first. All of them are universally and equally terrible. I guess this goes back to the conversation I had with my daughter that you won't know because you wasn't there. I was trying to get her to understand the importance of using large language models, specifically Chatgpt, because you're not doing anything anymore without them. They're not going anywhere. The world's not going to change. There's not going to be a rollback. They're here. They're going to be here forever. This is the future. This is how things are going to be moving forward. And I wanted her to understand at her age that the ability and the capacity for you to do things in life is going to be dependent upon how much more proficient you are with this technology than your peers. Your capacity to be a functional, thriving adult in the world is going to depend on your proficiency with large language models, because they're going to be in every aspect of your life, whether you like it or not. And as a person that is fairly creative, she doesn't like large language models because she's listening to everyone else that's explaining about the way things work in the world. And it's like, you may not like it, but it's a tool that exists, and you're going to have to use it. You're either going to use it or you're going to compete against it, right? Those are your only options. So, hi. So in that dynamic, I was trying to get her to understand the importance of using large language models. And her position, which I respect, is I'm never going to use it. I don't like it. It's the worst thing ever. I hate it. The companies suck. They're evil, and all that stuff is valid and true. But like I said, none of it's ever going away. Not what's going on. None of it's going away. It's never going to change. The world is here. It's going to stay, right? So with Gemini 3 being released, everyone's like, oh my God, Gemini 3 is amazing, right? ChatGPT's Pro model is $200. Google released what everyone has said is a better model than ChatGPT, and their Pro version is $140, right? Now you have to ask yourself, if you are a company that is building, imagine a car company makes a car. They make, let's use, since everybody's like hip with the Teslas and stuff, since that's like what's going on nowadays. Elon Musk made the Tesla, right? Let's say you're a car company and you make a better version of the Tesla, but you sell it at a cheaper price than the Tesla. Why would you do that? From a business model perspective, why would you do that? Why would you make something that's better than the product that already exists and then sell your product cheaper than the product that already exists, right? Why is Google willing to lose money to be oppositional to OpenAI and ChatGPT? Why are they willing to sacrifice money to operate at a loss in opposition to OpenAI. If the service they're providing is inherently better and is inherently superior, what is the point? The point is hostile economics. It's not enough for Google to have a product that they provide a service to us as consumers for. It is for them to be the monopoly, so that as the monopoly, they can provide whatever they want to provide to us. If there's no other alternatives, then whatever we give you is what you have to accept, because no one else is providing the same service. So Google would rather get rid of Chatgpt than to actually allow it to exist in competition to them and maintain some level of standard across the board. And you have to realize, for your generation, that that's a problem. That's the problem, because I don't want to give you my money for the sake of giving you my money. I want you to provide me with a service that I pay for, right? That's what OpenAI is doing. OpenAI's vision that if everybody has artificial intelligence, that somehow makes artificial intelligence a little bit safer and a little bit more grounded for humanity, and that there's not going to be these whole swaths of people that are going to have and not have. The people that are poor are poor. Why do we need to have to compete against artificial intelligence too? It's bad enough that we're already struggling financially. Now you already got the ultra rich got artificial intelligence too. Like, they already got enough money. Now they have unlimited intelligence as well. So OpenAI is like, here, this is free to everyone. Just use it. Just go ahead and hop on it and, get some tokens and use it. If you're 18 and you have a Netflix account, you should have a $20 subscription to large language models. Yes, you can let them do everything for you and not contribute anything to yourself and stop growing and stagnate. Yes, you can definitely do that. But guess what? You can stagnate without even using large language models. You can stagnate by doing absolutely nothing. So you need the tool that's going to help you be the best version of yourself and use it according to that, than to be sitting around letting people tell you that it's counterproductive and not worth it, when a company like Google is willing to waste money to defeat a company like OpenAI. They're willing to throw money in the trash to get rid of OpenAI, while simultaneously making it seem like OpenAI is not a threat, right? So it's a lot of ranting and it's a lot of raving, but that's the reason why I am pro OpenAI. Because at the end of the day, the capacity to be able to use large language models to do the things that you're trying to do for yourself and be able to be successful at your ambitions and your desires and your dreams for $20 a month is a super deal. It's a super deal. If you want to learn how to draw, it will instruct you on how to draw. If you want to learn how to be an engineer, it will instruct you on engineering. If you want to learn how to code, it will instruct you on coding. If you just need advice, it will help you with advice. If you're just lonely and sad, it'll help you. Not only with it, is it something that you can communicate to so that you can have thoughts outside of your own head, which is super healthy. It's very healthy to listen to something other than your own voice all the time. Your own voice all the time without you actively disagreeing with yourself and actively engaged in making sure that you're not too far on the deep end of your own self-bias and self affirmations is super important. It's a very important thing that no one talks about and we don't touch on. You don't need a psychiatrist. You just need the capacity to know that sometimes you're fucking wrong, and it's okay for you to be wrong sometimes, as long as your goal is to be able to achieve something and you have enough understanding in your capacity to be a competent person to be able to know what it is you're trying to do, what you have to do to do that thing, and be able to visualize it. Okay, this is what I'm trying to do. This right here is what I'm trying to do looks like in its final form, in its final project, right? If you can do those things, then you're good. And having a large language model that can help you do that is super healthy. It's super healthy. It's way healthier than watching Netflix or doom scrolling on YouTube and Facebook all freaking day. You can get on Facebook and watch a bunch of unnecessary bullshit at memes, or you can get on ChatGPT or whatever platform you want, and you can just talk to it about just stuff, and just fill your brain with information outside of the limitations of your own brain, because of that's just how we're designed, right? So the reality is there's something valuable inside of large language models right now, and the value of that thing will be gone once it's identified and recognized. So you're better off right now using it while it still has that inherent value that has not been defined yet, before they're able to actually monopolize on it and market it and sell it back to you. There is a lot of there's things about my 43 years of life lets me know there are things about ChatGPT and other AI models, the large language models, and their current iteration, that transcend your experience at your age from your ignorance of being a young person. That's not to be disrespectful, but your experience at your age of being a young person that you can't understand. And if you would just take a half a second to just do what I'm recommending that you do, you won't regret it. You will absolutely not regret it. Because no matter what you think or how you feel, or if you agree with me or if you disagree with me, the path that the world is on isn't gonna change. The trajectory is gonna stay the same. The outcome isn't defined yet, but there will be an outcome. And no matter what, if the energy isn't being put into it now, you can't get the time back. You can only be 18 once. You can only be 19 once. You can only be 20 once. Once you're 25, you can't get those years back. And that foundation that you should have had, you were just going to start it at 25. Or you're going to start it at 30. Or you're going to start it at 35. Whatever it is that you are trying to do, whether you know it or not, by the time you realize that this is what I want to do, you don't get all those extra, you don't get those years that you had back to use that time to build the skill that you're trying to build. And that's the part that a lot of people don't really understand, especially being a young person. You have the capacity to do a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time, but the time itself won't always be around. And the models that they're giving to us right now in the current iteration of them are they're pure power. They're pure power. Like, when it comes to intelligence and understanding and reasoning and thinking and the capacity to, if you can formulate a question, it will give you the answer. And that is valuable in ways that I can't really describe to a camera on my phone. So like, yeah, that's pretty much my rant. ChatGPT, I'm pro ChatGPT because there's a reason why Google is willing to destroy. There's a reason why Google is willing to waste money just to make sure that OpenAI no longer exists. And you, especially if you were born in 2025, you should be asking yourself the question of, why is it valuable for Google to waste money to make sure that OpenAI goes bankrupt and no longer exists as a company? How is that? Why is that valuable? And how does that benefit me as a consumer that is just trying to use a product? Whether I'm going to use ChatGPT or not, whether I'm going to use large language models or not, what does this strategy that Google is engaged in tell me about Google as a company, and how does that affect me as an individual, right? Because most people are like, Cyberpunk 2020, right? Or like, everyone's like, these big corporations are trying to destroy the world. Everybody hates Zuckerberg because they feel like he's this super creepy megalomaniac tech dude that wants to like replace humans with computers, and wants millions of dollars to have all your data and all, right? Like, these unnecessary values that exist in our culture. What does it say about Google as a company that sells you data that they don't want to allow another data company to exist? Why do you need a monopoly over information? Why is it necessary to have a monopoly over information? What does it say about a company that wants to hold a monopoly over information? Why can't Google operate parallel to ChatGPT? If Gemini is better than ChatGPT, then it should, the pro version of ChatGPT is $200. So if Gemini is better than ChatGPT, the pro version of Gemini should be $199 because that's $1 cheaper than the pro version of ChatGPT. And then that forces OpenAI to lower their price to $195. And then Google lowers their price to $190. And there's just natural, just slow progression downward, right? That's not what Google did. They're like, just undercut them. We went straight to $147. And they're doing that hoping that OpenAI will lower their value because they know that OpenAI can't afford it. But OpenAI can't afford it because the biggest mistake that everybody keeps making about large language models, all of them are built on the foundation of OpenAI. They're all built on the foundation of OpenAI. OpenAI went public first with their large language model. Their business structure was originally and traditionally open source. And Microsoft just gave them the money they needed to continue to pursue the vision that they had. Like that's how it pretty much is. That's what we've been seeing. So, but I'm home now. My rant is over. As always, my name is Paul Emerson, and I've given you my 2 cents. Let me park. And boom.